Hello boys, welcome back to the channel. Everyone this year, boys, everyone, don't worry, it is not just you, is losing coins on their team pretty much every week, right? We're going to jump over and look at the market on FUTBin and a few of the players that have lost the most value, but pretty much everyone is losing value every single week. It is avoidable to a degree, right? I think this video should hopefully be even more useful than some of the trading videos we do in terms of keeping your guys' coins. And when we jump into it, you'll see that if you do this correctly, you can ideally keep most of the coins you earn from the game, from trading, from pack pulls throughout the year. If you choose the right card, you buy correctly, you sell correctly. And yeah, learn this now. It's pretty much the same pattern all year. It should be a quick one today, boys. Right, no messing around. Let's jump into it. We're going to use this Sophia Wilson card as she is someone that has fell loads. And I want to show you here on the all-time graph, if we can, which is this graph here. That's fine. Okay, cool. So this is when she came out in the start of the game, and this is the price she is now, right? First thing you need to know, okay? 99% of you are going to be using most of, the cards in your team are going to be gold cards. Gold cards just downtrend for the entire year, right? Obviously, she can, only hit fodder price. So she can't go down from 30k to 2k. She's going to stay at an 88 fodder price as the cheapest she gets. But gold cards will all downtrend the entire year. The same with this Florian Wirtz card. He has gone at 300k down to 50k, and he will continue to downtrend to 89 fodder as the year goes on. That is the same pattern every year. So you're fighting an uphill battle, right? You need to time these fluctuations correctly, which I'll show you how to do. But just know that's why you're losing coins every week. This pattern's the same every year. This year, it's been very dramatic. You can see harsh cliffs there on Wirtz, and it's similar on Wilson. Just a really dramatic fall throughout the entire year. But do note that basically the market's never going to randomly just start upturning crazily, right? Cards might go up for a week or two, but just not like across the whole year, not consistently, right? However, if we do look at a smaller scale, you can kind of see these big cliffs, these slight rises, big cliffs, slight rises. Same with Wirtz. If we go onto the 14-day graph, you'll see big drops, slight rises, big drops, slight rises, little rises there. Basically, what I'm going to teach you today is how to sell here at these peak points and ideally buy in these dips to try and then sell later. It's going to revolve around FUT Champs mainly, as that's where most people are buying their teams for, with some other nuances. And I also want to talk about some different cards, right? Some impact promo cards, out of pack promo cards like this Nico Williams, and then icons and kind of heroes as well, but mainly icons, and how they are slightly different and how you can actually save team value by using different cards as well, right? Before we jump into exact buy times and sell times, I think it's really important to know why these cards have like big spikes down and then why they actually go up in price afterwards, right? It's all to do with supply and demand on the cards, like everything. It's to do with other things like power curve. These cards getting replaced by, for Wilson's example, another striker. Wirtz getting replaced by another cam, maybe an SBC that comes out. So what makes them spike, right? Well, what makes them spike is just demand. People buying their team for weekend leagues. It can be other things, like if a pro's putting a card in the team. Let's say a pro, or, all the pros started using Gerrard for some reason, right? He would then spike in price just if a card is figured out to be more meta or the meta changes. I'm pretty sure you boys would have seen with Bon Matty when the technical change happened, like Tech Plus, that she then fell in price when it got nerfed, then rose in price afterwards. And what's most important to know is these patterns are very, very predictable week on week for the most part. Sometimes there's slight crashes due to random packs from EA, but for the most part, they're quite predictable, right? Right, let's start with gold cards. When should you buy these cards, okay? We're going to talk about it in terms of a Champions weekend, a FUT Champs weekend, but it kind of can go the same throughout the week because most of the volatility happens around the weekend, which you'll see on these graphs, right? These big spikes are on Fridays and Saturdays. This one was on a Wednesday, which is a one-off. This was because I think we got a big icon pack, which changed the power curve a little bit. But you're 99% of the time see them on Fridays and Saturdays. And you can see here, Sunday, we got a lot of movement. And it gets kind of flat throughout the week, right? The first thing we need to nail down, boys, is when do you guys play your games, right? If you play all your games on a Monday over here, right? All your Champs games on a Monday, which 99% of you can't do. But can you see how you could just avoid this entire drop completely, right? If you play all your games on a Friday, can you see how you're going to lose more coins than everyone else most of the time, right? So when do you play your games? I'm going to do this again for everyone. So maybe you can only play your games on a Friday and that is fine, right? So starting with you boys, let's say you play some weekend league games on a Friday. You literally only have one buy window, right? Unless you bought like a week before and you're holding the card, the only buy window you've got here is this tiny little dip here you can kind of see. And you'll be able to see it into the next week here if you go on Friday. And then Friday, it's this dip here. But again, you don't normally see like a rise afterwards, right? This is the 6 till 7 p.m. when we get Friday content. You can kind of see it there. And you can kind of see that tiny little dip there with Wilson, right? Wirtz, I'm guessing, will be the same. Friday here. Yeah, see that 6 o'clock dip? For him, he didn't even bounce back, right? There's a little dip there, and then he just fell into the night. So if you're going to play Friday, you can see why you're going to lose more coins than everyone else, as that is the only good buy time. If you get a look at Wirtz here on Friday, let's see what he did. There you go. It's this dip here, basically. 6 till 7 p.m. You can buy at 7 p.m. And again, they still normally fall afterwards, but you just missed this first initial spike rise, right? Or spike dip, I should say. So first tip I recommend is don't play your games on Friday. If you can, at least play them on Saturday and Sunday. So when should you buy cards if you're looking to play on Saturday? Well, you can see here, right? Saturday, the cards spike in the morning, as that's when everyone's buying the team. In my opinion, it almost is the same as Friday. If you can on Saturday, look to buy between 6 and 7 p.m, right? Maybe you can only play your games in Saturday morning, and in that case, the buy window is actually overnight on a Friday. If you can just stay up UK time till midnight, 1 a.m, 2 a.m, can you see how there's a buy window there? I'm doubting, you're going to play all your games on a Saturday here, but I've got a little trick what you boys can do, which I do most of the time, and it feels a little bit strange to do this, but I think it is worth it, right? It'll be the same pattern for Wilson as well, so I'll show you on both graphs, right? Let's say you're going to play Saturday. I think this will be the most common one, as it's a good balance of playing early, but not doing all your games at once, right? You can actually buy overnight Friday, Saturday, which is these big dips, and again, it'll be the same over here, look. Overnight into Friday, Saturday. That's sort of in the morning time, 1 a.m, 2 a.m, Friday night, Saturday morning. Then play as many games as you can or want in the morning and sell the card by midday. Do you see they often hold this little price then dip again? Less so over here because Wilson's at a much cheaper price. But if you see where it's right, Friday, overnight you can buy, holds a bit of price into Saturday and then dips again. What I'd recommend doing is buying overnight Friday, play as many games as you want on a Saturday morning, and then sell whenever you are done, ideally before like 3 p.m. And then if you're going to play more games later, buy back again at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock and do the same again, right? So it feels weird buying these cards so often. What you can do is, like I say, get that first buy and sale, possibly even make coins. Normally you'll still break even or lose some, but not many at all. Then you can buy back 6 till 7 p.m. and you can do the same again. Again, using this Wilson graph here, that's the Friday overnight. You can see you can play in the morning, sell. She then drops all the way down to like 6 p.m. here. And again, you can see, right, if you bought at 6 p.m. and then sell later on, you're not making coins, but you're just stopping this initial loss here, right? Which in this case was like a 20 to 30,000 coin loss. What is that? More of a 20,000 coin loss, right? So you're stopping a 20,000 coin loss there, right? That is why it's so important. Yes, you don't make coins on that sale later, but you just stop these really sharp losses. Then, boys, if you've got games to play on a Sunday, right, it's almost the same pattern. You want to then buy Saturday overnight into Sunday. Can you see this here? That is just generically the next low point. Saturday overnight into Sunday, and it's the same pattern as the day before. You buy an overnight, and you play as many games as you want, and you're looking to sell midday. Can you see how into midday, into content, these start to fall off? So ideally, you buy an overnight, you play whatever games you need to, you sell midday. If you've got more games to play Sunday night, then you can even wait and buy again at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock and then play your games Sunday night, right? So that is the same pattern as the day before, just it's an even lower price point because, again, more people have opened their champs rewards, more people have got packs, so the prices fell down once again. But you can kind of see these patterns starting to form, right? And finally, if you're a madman and you play all your games on a Monday, first of all, fair play, but it will be the best time for buying and selling your team because what you can do is do the same pattern but a day later and buy overnight on a Sunday here, sort of Sunday, the dips are normally a little bit earlier, but it can just also be at like 1 a.m, 2 a.m, like the previous days. But here, at least, it was a little bit earlier. Buy here, play your games on a Monday. And to be honest, boys, when you've played your games on a Monday, you're in no rush to sell because the market normally just stagnates for the rest of the week. Always try and sell before Wednesday when you can get drop-offs like this. But in terms of Monday and Tuesday, it's normally kind of stagnant. Can fall a little bit, can rise a little bit. Not much really happens on a Monday and Tuesday. So that was buying your teams, boys. Just very quickly again to cover selling your teams, which is really important. Always, if you're looking to sell your team, looking to sell, if it's on a weekend in that sort of morning phase there, can you see that sort of 9 a.m, 10 a.m, 11 a.m. morning phase? Same again on Saturday, that sort of early morning phase. If you get to Monday, it doesn't really matter. Just sell your team before Wednesday. You're kind of gambling off it's going to go up and down. You can see Wirtz here went up on a Tuesday. I don't even remember what that was from. Maybe there was a Liverpool player. I can't even remember, right? But he could also just go down just as equally. There's not really much to that. So if you're playing your games on a Monday, sell doesn't matter. It's more if you're playing them early. You do have one more sell time. Can you see this massive spike here? This is basically Thursday night, Friday morning, as a lot of people are buying their weekend league teams. The problem you've got is, do you remember the Sophia Wilson graph where on Wednesday she dips here? So if you play your games on a Monday and you're looking to sell the next Friday, you could already just miss a huge dip here. So even though she does spike a little bit Thursday night into Friday, you see that tiny spike there. If you had just sold earlier in the week, which I think you should do, then you can see you missed this proper sell, right? It seems like you're buying and selling your team a lot, but honestly, boys, doing this alone means you normally don't lose coins on your team every week. And imagine not losing coins on your team. It'd save you so much. It is crazy. But my biggest tip of the entire video comes next with these cards here. These are some really expensive options like Nico Williams. It's kind of the same for all of them, so don't get scared away if you're not on a huge coin budget, right? We're talking about three things: out of pack promos, in pack promos, and icons. Starting with icons. can you see that over the last 14 days, this Gerrard card, although he fluctuates a lot, has barely moved in price, right? Number one, icons are the most stable cards in the entire game. Yes, they downtrend over the year, like you can see with Gerrard, same with Sophia Wilson. But rather than going from 400k to 30k, he's gone from 400k to 250k. What I think this means is, boys, icons are not always the same, meta level as these gold cards, but they're also more fun, right? Use more icons in your team. You could, can actually make a lot of coins on icons over the weekend if you buy low and sell high. We've got videos on that on the channel. But yeah, use icons. More fun, and you lose less coins, right? This also goes for out-of-pack promos. Look at this Nico Williams in the last 14 days. If you'd bought over here for your team at 850, you could have sold for 1.2 mil. That is crazy, crazy stuff. Again, these often downtrend for most of the year, but especially on the meta ones, you can also see uptrends when they're out of packs. Now, as he gets behind the power curve, he will start to downtrend once again, right? But in general, out-of-pack promos are not in FUT Champs rewards. They can't be packed, and so they just do better than gold cards. The most important point that a lot of you boys will fall for is impact promo cards. These are must avoids, right? Look what happens to this Xavi Simons from 14 days, right? He has been out from Friday to what I'm recording this on, which is Monday. So he's been out for about 3 or 4 days, and he's gone from 170k to 70k in just 2 or 3 days, right? It's been 4 days, but he's been 70k for a while, right? Avoid impact promo cards that come out on the Friday until at least next weekend league. They are the biggest coin losers. They get packed all weekend in champs and fall off a cliff. So just completely avoid them for your teams if coins mean anything to you, basically. So boys, that was a quick one today. It's just how to not lose coins on your team and possibly even make coins. It's such a big issue this year with the market going downhill. Comment down below, what are your thoughts on the market? It's probably the biggest drop off in golds we've ever seen this early. So let me know your thoughts down below. And one more bonus tip for you boys is that if you don't want to lose any coins on your team, then use untradeable cards like SBCs. We actually put a video out recently, which should be on screen now. It's about how to do league SBCs, as you can craft unlimited fodder that way to then go and do SBCs, and then you'll lose no coins on your team. So you can give that a watch and go and complete some of the best SBCs out there and upgrade your team without spending any coins, which is great. But like always, boys, until next time, I'll see you all in a bizzle.